That pimp shit come naturally. That fuck shit is whack to me. My kush grown organically. My ballin' is actually. Welcome along to the Guy and Harley podcast. My name is Harley Neville.
And I'm Guy Pigden. And who was that?
I found this hot young rapper, hot new young rapper, silly name. They're just getting silly now, these names. Calls himself Wiz Khalifa.
Wiz Khalifa.
So that's from Smoking On with Snoop and Juicy J.
Wiz Khalifa is so old in hip hop that I've forgotten that he existed. That's how. Is Wiz Khalifa still making music? Apparently, yes.
Well, that might be an old hit song.
Or that might be an old song. And if you guys are watching on the live stream, the stream has this cool habit, or the OBS has this cool habit of popping me into a corner.
Yeah.
No one puts baby in a corner except OBS every single time we go live.
Yeah.
And then
what happens if you hit studio mode and then hit cut? So it fixes your preview and then you hit cut.
Well, the preview is fucked as well.
Yeah, so hit studio mode and it'll like reset it type thing and switch between modes.
Yeah, no, because it's fucked on both
preview.
Like, yes. So I'm not helping. It's not helping.
Yeah.
Like I can't even select myself,
and it's not
to move myself.
Right. So you can't resize yourself.
It's very difficult.
Right.
It's very tricky. So I'll just stay there, talking. Hold on, if I just move myself a little bit. There we go. Now you can see me. Hey guys. Hey, how's it going?
What's the plan here? We're just gonna leave it.
It's a little piggy.
Okay.
Well, there's nothing to do. There's nothing to do. I'll just awkwardly shift my body over here. Now you can see me poking out the side.
Corner,
and here we are.
Yeah, right? Am I facing the right way? Which way are you? That way.
There we go. Yeah. Hey!
Ridiculous. So good. Great. Welcome to the show, people. What a time to be alive. 2020 in New Zealand really changed the trend and actually did something good with the election results.
Yeah, it's quite shocking, isn't it? I was shocked. I was shocked by the election results.
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised, but this is unprecedented. This is not what normally happens. Normally what happens is that, the government, the Labour government either doesn't win, loses. The left-wing Labour government either loses heartily to the rich right-wing Nationals, or they just scrape in with the skin of their teeth by combining themselves with 50 other parties to make up the majority. And
two other parties,
which
but one of them is an evil
overlord,
nationalistic one.
Yeah. New Zealand First. Is that who we're talking about?
Yeah. Nationalistic Party.
Yeah. So
whatever they call that.
So normally it's either we're out. In fact, there's a character in wrestling called Mr. Burns, and he's part of the Young Nats. He runs the group, the Young Nats, which is basically a sort of a right-wing wrestling group who antagonizes the audience with chants of 4 more years, 4 more, whenever they're voted in. It's really quite amazing. Now, he himself in real life is like a very solid lefty. And is complete opposite of his character, but it's just hilarious, and I'm not sure how they're going to react to this.
Funny.
This sort of how they're going to deal with this character-wise. But essentially, what's happened is Labour has won by, was it? You could say it. I don't know. You could
the highest margin ever.
Well, the highest margin ever, a landslide. Could you say it's a landslide?
Yeah, they've been calling it a landslide.
Landslide victory. We're normally used.
And it's the first time since MMP has been in use that a party's been able to do that or something.
Right.
I can't remember exactly. Something like that.
Yes, the evil deputy prime minister is no more. He's like
gone.
He's like Darth Sidious. He's got to retreat back into the shadows
Winston
now.
Peters. We are, of course, talking about Winston Peters.
So Winston Peters has been known for many years as the kingmaker, because it has inevitably come down to his smaller party to create the majority vote to who gets into parliament. So essentially what that means is that even though he's got this shitty little party, this shitty little fucking party actually decides who's in government, and therefore because they decide, each of those bigger parties offer him these majestic positions, such as deputy prime minister, to lure him into, siding with them. And now, for the first time, oh fuck, I'm gone. For the first time ever, we're in a situation where no one gives a shit about him anymore. He's fucking done. Didn't he retire? I'm pretty sure he retired.
Did he? I don't know.
I feel like he retired. He must diminish into the West now, because wherever evil politicians go to die is where he's gone.
He's not
as bad as some of them. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, a very good result. Chloe Swarbrick getting into the central Auckland electorate. Quite a phenomenon.
Excuse me.
COVID, definitely COVID. And now we're just looking forward to, hopefully that's an indication that the cannabis referendum has passed or will pass. There's all these polls and stuff saying that it won't pass.
Yes.
But then people also said that Chloe Swarbrick was third, and she's green and pro-weed, and she was third in an electorate of 3, potential candidates.
Right.
And they ranked her as third, but actually, she won it.
Yeah, so really,
I believe comfortably.
Which is very progressive, right? It's all good stuff. Because I believe she is a lesbian, Harley. Is that correct? Am I correct?
I believe that is correct.
And, there was a time, not that long ago, where certain people wouldn't be having that.
Yes. Well, we have the queerest government in the world.
The gayest government in the world.
Officially the gayest government in the world.
The absolute gayest.
Per capita or whatever, like per representative in Parliament who's gay or, otherwise.
Yeah, so
LGBTQ.
There's certain times where you feel like we as a country let ourselves down, but certainly it did not appear to be that way on Labour night,
Yeah.
On voting night, which you may as well call it Labour night because we've fucking destroyed. I voted for them, you see, so I feel a part of that victory.
I voted Green.
Yeah, which is commendable. It was commendable, Harley. It's commendable.
If humanity has a future, if civilization has a future, it's a future with green governments worldwide. And even the most right-wing and, anti-environment parties, they just can't exist. They'll have to, take on these new things as the world around us changes. That, or they will just steer us towards oblivion.
Yeah.
This is why we must keep them out of power.
I saw a tweet the other day and it was like, oh, yay, we've got this great government, blah, blah, blah. The government. It'll take us 5 years to ban stickers on fruit.
Right. So is that a meme that it tickled
well,
you?
It was just... no one liked it. No one liked that one. Because it's diminishing. It's a little diminishing. It's actually very hard to get all the people sending in fruit with stickers on it to stop that practice. That's not easy. We're worried about COVID and shit, and you're talking about stickers on fruit. Yeah, I mean, look, of course, get the stickers off the fruit, but we've got bigger fish to fry right now. It's a global pandemic going on. We can't let anyone into the country. There's all these students need to be let in. The education system is in disarray. But yes, fortunately for me, COVID has been a bit of a boon, really, because I teach digital media.
Hallowed be thy name.
Hallowed be thy name.
COVID.
Because
COVID. Hallowed be thy name.
I teach digital media and design, which is all to do with using things that you might be able to do from home. And that's become really quite popular because there's a lot of talk about everyone working from home. And can we stay working from home? And what can we do working from home should we need to? And I'm the guy to help you. If as judged by this live stream, if you're watching.
this technical artistry, which is this fucked live stream. You know, Christ, I've been working in broadcasting for like more than 10 years, for like 15 years.
This live stream is particularly bad, this one, in terms of what we're seeing on the screen here. Either I get popped into a little square or you get popped in.
Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out, it's like it wants me here.
Well, yeah, I mean, it does, but not really. It's just
No.
it's just that square has moved you well out.
Yeah.
And now we can also see that we've shattered the illusion of my beautiful wood wall as well. With this little extra piece that you can see out the side here. Oh, so yes, it's a little bit frustrating. I'm gonna try cutting. I'm gonna cut this.
Yeah. Oh, and now it's small.
There we go. I'm sort of, that's better. It's better-ish, but it will change again. It's always fluctuating.
Yeah.
OBS on a Mac.
So, but is that how you fix it? You just cut it around a bit?
I just resize. So I resize it in the preview and then cut back and then recut and then recut in an infinite loop of despair.
Right, but you can't just easily resize it and cut it.
You can, but then it resizes back to what it was, and that's the issue. So you resize it bigger, and then it goes back to what it was meant to be, which is then way bigger. And so we kind of get into this.
I see. I've had a similar experience.
Into this, into these shenanigans. There we go. It's gone again.
Well, in other news, I went out partying until 6 a.m. on a.
Okay.
So that was, the kids still got it.
Yeah, what were you doing? What happened?
It was a work party at the bar that I work at. One of the guys was leaving, so there was a bit of a lock-in. And so it was good. It was a late night. Lots of chit-chat by the fire.
I presume
camaraderie and so forth.
The only reason that you made it till 6 a.m. is because you can literally walk to your house from that.
Oh, yeah.
And had you had any type of actual real travel involved, you would have been in bed tucked up by 10 a.m. with your with a new World War II. 10 p.m. 10 p.m. with a new World War II documentary.
Well, I also had nowhere to be on the Tuesday, so this is the freelance life, as I like to call it. Some people call it unemployed. I prefer
this freelance life. This is the life we chose.
Operation Go Pro. It's a resounding success.
So huge victories, but even amongst that huge victory, trouble on the horizon. Trouble looms on the horizon. The pale face of COVID looms large.
Because there's these concerning, not quite clusters, but outbreaks, community transmission situations. That here we are. We thought we'd shaking it off again. But it's like, no, it's definitely still, here. But they did say, of course, all the experts always said, look, it's going to be coming and going, and it's, it's going to happen a bunch of times.
Yeah.
But Christ alive, work's just starting to pick up again. We're in level 1. Work's starting to pick up again. Yep. If we go to level 2 again, it's like, well, fuck. It's getting a bit much. Especially living in this little basement.
I mean, I think the basement is the big problem for you.
Well, actually, I did look at a different house, a room last night, because I was talking to a dude at the bar, and he was like, I've got a room going in Kingsland. And I was like, oh, how much? including bills, which is quite a lot cheaper than what I'm paying right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just with 2 other dudes, and he works in advertising. This ticks a lot of the boxes. There's even got an off-street park. So I've got an off-street park,
Yep.
216, includes bills. It's in Kingsland. The dudes seem cool. I only met one of them, and there's a networking potential angle there as well.
Okay.
So really ticks all the boxes.
So what's the verdict then?
Well, I only really just this was only last night,
Mm.
so still processing.
Thought you needed to ponder it.
Weighing up my options.
You need to ponder it in your dank, more expensive basement for a little bit longer.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what I need to ponder though, right, is when and if and how I'm going to go to Dunedin and buy a house.
Yeah. I mean,
so it's like if I'm moving to Dunedin, there's no point in moving twice and fucking around this dude, like I move in and then I move out again in a couple of months or whatever. It's all silly. It's expensive and annoying, and I hate moving.
Yeah. I mean,
so it's like I've got to be sure that I want to do it.
It's true. I mean, the bank normally, don't give mortgages to unemployed people as a general rule.
Yeah, well,
so that is a...
see if I can Harley Neville my way into this one, shall I?
Yeah, it is possible. The illusion of the successful freelancer. Yeah, no, I see how it could work. I could see how you could fool them for sure.
Well, there's no fooling. I have to show them my actual income at the end of the day.
Well, yeah,
can't really get around it.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
So we'll see how we go.
So
how?
Yeah.
Did your piracy talk go?
Yeah,
because you were going to be on a piracy, doing a interview on a podcast about piracy at 7 a.m. the morning after the last episode of the Guy and Harley podcast.
Yeah, so that.
So you woke up 4 hours later.
That's
after
right.
The show finished,
after the show
we fought
finished,
for 3 hours,
and
we fought for 3 hours.
Yeah, certainly the time of day really backfired on me, as did the podcast that we did prior to that day. So I was certainly feeling somewhat wishy-washy when that podcast started. But it was quite interesting. It was for the Soho Film Festival. There is a link on my Facebook page to it. We'll probably share that link. It's still up. You can still watch it if you want. And we sort of
I did share it on the Facebook page, facebook.com/Guy and Harley.
And it was sort of it's essentially how it's the new world order. This is how festivals are happening now. So basically what happened was international festivals here in New Zealand, we can still do it the real way. Not to gloat too much, but...
no, well, especially not because we're on a frickin' knife's edge.
And we've just had a community transmission.
A tightrope. Yeah.
We're
about to go into lockdown level 2 or 2.5 or 3 for the fucking third time.
Yep. But essentially, I was on this panel with someone who runs copyrightslap.com, which is essentially a website designed to help independent filmmakers such as us issue takedown notices to get pirators to or pirating sites to take down. With a takedown notice, you have to take down that illegal stream or that illegal torrent, whatever it is. And there was also a lawyer there who was an expert in copyright and piracy law and sort of worked for a bunch of individuals chasing these things. And it was an interesting discussion, and copyrightslap.com looks like quite a good service in terms of, assisting you in that. But it also did seem like a real, we sort of kept getting to the end of the conversation and it being like, well, but then if they're in another country that's not America, that's very hard to really follow up on. Or if we get, it's very hard to find the person that actually might have the money to pay for any damages. Or, other places aren't beholden to the same places. And it kind of all just kept creeping towards this almost this futility, this
unenforceable.
This like, well, who watches The Watchmen in Russia and China?
Yeah.
Do they really care about it? Like, what are you gonna do? Who are you gonna subpoena? Who are you gonna take to court? Are they gonna fly over? Are you gonna fly there? Like, how's it really gonna work? And that's obviously the new like. Don't get me wrong. Like, this can be very successful within America, within sort of the countries that have sort of similar agreements like America. But the problem is the pirates know that, and they figured that out. So now their servers are based in Russia or China, or places where they may not really be very intimidated by a takedown notice. But one thing they did say was that a lot of them, rather than be like sort of bothered and annoyed by these constant takedown notices, will take them down rather than be kind of harassed to some degree. It's like, it's easier for them. It doesn't really matter. Like, one stream makes no difference to them. However, being bothered by these notices can, and therefore some will do it. So it's still a good practice to get into.
Right.
We were provided, I believe, 6 months free copyright slapping to slap some pirates for participating in that conversation.
Right.
So,
well, that's cool.
Yep.
And we should try it, right?
Yep.
But isn't piracy just like part of the marketing now? Like if hundreds of millions of people watch it, that's hundreds of millions of people who have heard of it. And the options are have 100,000 paying people or have 10,000 paying people and millions of unpaying people. Now, 100,000 is obviously much better than 10,000, but
yeah.
Well, no, I don't think the difference would be that big. It's going to be 10 times as much. If you take it off the pirate side.
It's a bit of a thorny issue because it's really, it certainly does devalue films. There's no doubt about that. And also, again, that sort of business model of, scarcity being a premium thing. But that's an outdated business model when everything's free and can proliferate freely on the internet. Essentially, that's the thing is, if you can stop that, then you do bring value back to your film. And if you can police these better, which look, it's a real tough one, like, because essentially we have to look at the film industry like where the music industry was. Now, what did the music industry do? Did they fight and beat the pirates? Or did they introduce a few new business models and everyone relied on completely different revenue streams and everyone got poorer and artists got shit on?
That one.
Yeah, the second. The second is what happened.
Yeah.
Long-time listener of the show, Liam Hegarty, shared a hilarious but incredibly bleak and depressing article about a band that decided to break up and start working at the bar where they played consistently. So essentially they used to be the band that was getting their music out to the world, and then they're like, fuck, we're not making any money, can we just work at actually behind the bar? Which is look, it's the artist way. It's the artist way. So one day you're up there in front of the crowd. The next minute you're serving pints to the crowd.
Well, tell me about it. It's literally what's happened to me. I literally serve pints at the bar now.
Yeah, but So you've the rise and fall, for sure. Just in the same way that those who can't make a successful career out of something go on to teach that profession.
We're both such cliches. I'm a washed up actor who's become a barman, and you're a washed up director who's become a teacher.
Yeah, and talks about his films in class, and kind of goes, well, because wow, I'm a filmmaker, and I do a lot of filmmaking and stuff, and my first feature film, I don't know if you've heard of it, I Survived a Zombie Holocaust, but that's available now. So when I did that, this was my experience, because I do real things, and I'm a real filmmaker. And this is just a job right now, but no doubt that soon business will pick up any minute, and I will have to leave you guys for greener pastures. But until then, just check out my film on Amazon.com and olderfilm.com,
olderfilm.com,
Tubi. So that's cool. I mean, you did say, man, isn't it funny how you become the thing you hate? Because I might be getting you a teaching job.
Yeah. Well, so that we haven't spoken about that on the show.
Yeah.
That is a hilarious development if that happens. Or maybe we did mention
I think
it.
we did briefly mention it last time. Yeah.
After me hooking you up the milk run when we were 16, it's about time you paid me back.
It's finally time to repay the favor.
Yeah, by getting me a job teaching at a polytech.
Yeah.
Teaching the same course, but doing more practical, hands-on-y, actually out in the field doing stuff with these kids.
Yeah, well, sadly, essentially taking all my hard work, my blood, sweat, and tears, my 3 a.m., trying to find these lessons, putting them all together, and literally just copy and pasting it.
Yeah.
And really not doing very much.
Yeah. And then showing up and having a good time with the kids.
Having a laugh.
Some movies
having a couple of laughs.
Yeah. Well, that's how you Harley Neville your way into things.
Yeah.
That's what Harley Niveling it is.
It's
not my fault. It just happens.
I could see that happening. So that is still on the horizon. That is progressing.
Well, is it?
Oh, the wheels are in motion.
The wheels are in motion.
The wheels are very much in motion. Essentially, there will come a talking point. Essentially, what they're doing now is they're waiting for student interest, to see how much student interest they get over the next little while.
Well, they've got to tell me that, and I'll start sharing it or whatever.
Well, I think that so they go directly to the high schools.
Right.
And then the high schools kind of come back and go, yeah, maybe these kids would be good for that, I think.
Yeah.
So we're sort of waiting to hear back and to see how that goes. But I would say that there is a very high chance that that's going to be a thing because, like I said, this is the COVID world, man.
I'm going to become a teacher.
Yeah. And
that is ridiculous. I'm using that dick pic.
First thing you do.
Every year I'm using that dick pic gag.
And each year it will be met with the same complete indifference. 100% total indifference. Total apathetic response will be the reaction of those students. But yeah, that's what that's what we're in, and in fact,
the kids will love it. Such a dad joke.
Even more shocking is that our friend Will, who also works at the same place, but in the
shout out, Will.
In the marketing department, he was like, "Hey, they're advertising your course," and I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "That's a very new development." So there's literally ads like that, pop-up ads for my course now, which to me suggests a definite shift in priorities, perhaps.
It's blowing up.
Well, we'll see. We'll see about
but they see the potential.
But they see the potential, absolutely, and there is potential for sure. You have a good time in my course. So yeah, that's
I mean, it's the Pigville course. If this comes to fruition, it becomes the Pigville School of Filmmaking.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a filmmaking course, but
media and junk like that.
So I guess we do have a few things to share about Older as well. Speaking of Older,
yeah. Well, I did just want to, before we get into that, I did just also want to, while your camera just disappeared when I said that, but, not to rabbit on about the live stream, because I know for the people listening at home, it's probably a bit boring. They don't give a flying fuck. But I have had a development which is I can now cut cameras. So on the live stream there, I can cut to my other camera. I won't leave it down there, but I could if I wanted to. Yeah. So I've been mucking around with the 8M Mini Pro, trying to figure out how it all works. It's a wee vision mixing device, and so far, so
you've cut from one close up, well, medium sort of mid shot of you, to a slightly worse mid shot of you at a slightly different angle. This is classic bad filmmaking 101 here. You know, this is not what you should be teaching the kids. If you're going to switch angles, you know that there has to be more of a significant shift than that.
Yeah.
But it is.
Well, the issue is that you are forcing me to put it where you need it to be.
Yeah.
In order for to be able to see it on the live stream.
Yeah.
Properly. So actually, the people are only seeing a very small part of the frame. But so that's cool.
So there we go. We did spend $1,400 on that or something like that. So we have effectively gotten our money's worth for sure on that new development.
Look, we're working it out, but it's not as simple as you'd think.
No,
You'd think that this
sadly,
thing would be actually, you plug in all the cameras into it and they all come out. Each one's an individual source and they all come out and you just mix between them. And sometimes you can combine them into a split screen, for example. It doesn't do any of that shit as far as I can see.
Yes.
The only split screen I can do is by doing half of a wipe, which is not the same.
So
now, older.
Yes. So
and the Franklin Film
big
Festival.
News. We're at the Franklin Film Festival, and Older won Best Actress, Leisha Warnock's amazing performance, well deserved. And we also had another win for Best Feature Film, but somewhat curiously, it was not for Older. In fact, even more curiously, it was not for a feature film that we won Best Feature Film. It was for a web series called Immi the Vegan.
No, that's silly. We submitted it as a film. It was a supercut. It was a 61-minute supercut, and it is a feature film.
That could in no way be construed as a feature film.
Of course it could.
Well, yes. I guess, look, on the one hand, if you're in competition with yourself or you beat yourself, can you really be mad? On the other hand, we made an actual film. Which lost to our non-film film.
Well, it did. It was nominated against Immi the Vegan and Older.
And they looked at it, and the judges looked at this. They sat down, they analyzed it. They had a very, not even a discussion, and they were like, "Look, we really think this film that isn't actually a film is better than the film that he tried to make that was really a film. So we've really got to go with a non-film film over his actual film." So there you go.
Look,
there you go.
It is a film. Let me tell you what kind of film it is. It's an award-winning film.
It's an award-winning film.
And now, this award-winning film, wheels are in motion, and we're going to try to get it released in the same way that Older has been released via our sales agent.
Yep.
And that is an exciting concept, that we would have 3 feature films on Amazon Prime.
Well, yes.
We would have 3 feature films on Google Play and all of these places.
Well, someone did come up with the term serialized film, serialized feature. It's a serialized feature.
Yeah.
So,
there you go.
There you go. It's a feature. It's a serial. It's a feature film. It's a serialized feature. What does that mean? It kind of looks like 7 episodes of something else.
All cut together.
All put together in one thing. That's what a serialized feature is. We've invented a new genre of filmmaking.
I think that's
We're
fine.
pioneers.
I think that's absolutely fine. It's absolutely fine. It's got a beginning, middle, and end.
It's definitely got it's got a beginning, middle, and an open end.
Yeah. Well, sure. Spoilers, but yeah. I mean, exactly. It's got an open end for the sequel.
Yeah.
That's why Rambo didn't die in the first one.
That's true. he went on for 4 films and 40 years worth of those films.
Yes.
We can only hope for the same in Immi the Vegan. 40 years of Immi the Vegan films.
Well, it has a lot of potential, right? If it goes viral because it's
Yep.
vegan and that niche vegan audience really love it, and it's on Amazon and people are watching it all around the world, you never know. It might be a big smash money earner or just a regular earner, just has a nice little passive income that ticks over there. Every 3 months we get a check.
So that was cool. It's always cool to win awards. I am obviously now I already was, to be fair, a multi-award-winning director.
It's true.
But now I'm a multi-award-winning director.
Yep, you are.
Yep.
Best short film last year at Franklin Film Festival for Asylum. Best short film at A Night of Horror in Sydney for No Caller ID.
Best the Independent
Spirit Award for
Yep.
I Survived a Zombie Holocaust.
Yeah, which means that you made a very spirited independent film.
Yeah.
Had a lot of spirit behind it. It had
Also
the most
ran-
spirit of all independent films that year.
Also known as Also Ran, the Also Ran trophy.
The bridesmaid trophy. Although
of course, there was also let's not forget my accolades. The 10 years ago, short films on a tall wall,
which you just pointed out recently to me.
For the classic.
Yeah.
The classic YouTube video, much loved by all long-term Pigville fans.
Yeah.
I am, of course, talking about The Heat and Eat.
Yeah. The fondly remembered Heat and Eat.
So I've got a trophy for that still, 10 years later.
You've got a little plastic trophy sitting beneath your giant bowl of wax.
It's candle. It's wax art. It's wax art.
And there it sits. Short films on a tall wall, which basically meant they
projected the film.
They rocked up a projector to like a random wall in Dunedin.
It was on the supermarket wall.
The supermarket wall of Dunedin.
The supermarket car park.
Where I'm assuming they didn't have to pay for that.
Outside. Oh, I assume they probably did. So they would have to take up a bunch of parks and all that.
As bemused shoppers walked by and watched
That's a cool idea.
And watched you masturbating furiously
True.
to an overweight
no, you're
fatty porn.
No, you're talking about disgusting hairy man.
Sorry, my bad. It's the Heat
Come
and
on,
Eat.
bro. The Heat and Eat.
Sorry, where I catch you post furious masturbation, eating a pie and masturbating.
Yeah.
So they curiously walked past a man completely naked, eating a pie, and claiming
and talking about masturbating
and yes, talking about masturbating.
Well, look, and I won. We won.
Your sublime performance. Now you wonder why we moved away from the Dunedin filmmaking scene.
We were exiled.
I was going to say, if that's an award-winning, if that's the standard best actor for a short film, then you know that maybe
No, it was just best film.
Oh, it was a best film.
I think so. It was not. It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't best actor.
Oh, it was best film.
Yeah, I'll have to have a look at the thing. Best film, short films on a tall wall.
Yeah. Yeah, so
they loved that. Obviously, the kids loved it. All those children that were walking past that public place when it screened loved it.
Also, did we watch that? Did we go to that?
No, I didn't. I couldn't for some reason.
Right. Well, I'm sure if you didn't, I didn't.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, shout out to Jamie and Tanya Oxley.
Yep.
Jamie is a Kiwi that's driving trucks in the outback, and he's a city listener of the Guy and Harley podcast. And he cruises the outback in his big truck. It's just him, the horizon, and the Guy and Harley podcast for mile upon mile. And so shout out to him because he had a fat merch haul Him and the missus,
Yep.
Tanya, got had a few beverages and decided to place some orders for some older merchandise. So thank you so much to Jam Brews. That was the name of his little something, his little beer brand, and so I'm looking forward to trying some of those. Apparently they're going to be sent over, but anyway, he gave us a big he bought some merch, which you can find out about that stuff. He bought a Blu-ray and
T-shirt
and t-shirts. Yes, so you can do that, people. There's a very limited number left, very, very extremely limited number left, and the way to get them is to slide into our DMs, because we don't even have a shop. So we only printed 25 Blu-rays.
Yep.
That's all we printed, and we sold a bunch of them at the screenings. So these things are extremely limited.
Shall we tell the hilarious story of the other guy at the screening that got a bunch of things made?
Yeah, well, if you want to. Just don't say his name.
Okay, so, and this is what you get in the film industry, is what you, like, for starters,
don't say anything mean.
You get a lot of delusional people. And to be fair, you're one of those delusional people. You have to be. You have to be to think that you can make it in a 1% industry. You have to be to believe that your stuff is worthwhile compared to the thousands and thousands of things also being put out by other people. So you have to be somewhat delusional. It has to be a combination of delusion and naivety, and then hopefully talent. Now, we were chatting to one of the other people there that had also made a film, and they'd made a short film, and I was sort of talking because they were also selling it there at the thing, but they were selling it on a USB stick, and we were sort of chatting away, and they had like it all, and I was like, man, that's very organized. That's really prepared that they would kind of get these done. I'm assuming specifically for this festival or for any festivals it might be in.
Yeah, but all of its festival runs.
Because, you know, I was like, that's good, man. That's really clever. And so we started chatting, and I was like, yeah, so, you know, like, how much did this cost? Because I was like, these little USB sticks in a little case. I was like,
yeah,
oh, that's
with the cover all printed, and tidily presented and all of that type of stuff.
I was like, looks really good. And I was like, oh, this is really good. And he was like, yeah, we got him off. We approached a sort of a seller directly on Alibaba, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. You know, like, good on you, entrepreneurial, getting it out there. You know, these 21s that you got done, like 25 Blu-rays. And he was like, and I was like, so how much did that end up costing you? Because I was thinking about older, and I was thinking, could we do this USB stick gimmick? And he was like, oh, $2,000. And I was like, whoa, wait, $2,000. Oh, like all up $2,000 for printing these? And he goes, oh, no, all up $7,000. And I was like, yeah, $7,000. Okay. And he was like, yeah, I got 900 of them done.
And this is of his short film.
This is of his short film.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, well,
900.
That's optimistic. That's belief. And he was like, yeah, man. And I'm just thinking, I don't know. Am I fucking crazy? And I was like, yeah, we all have that thought.
Yeah, well,
we all have that thought.
Did you sense any regret from him? Did you sense that? Was he like, oh yeah, whoops? Or was he like, yeah, so that's gonna net me, you know, $20,000 when they're all sold.
Well, the crazy thing is, like, short films are not very sellable at the best of times.
No.
They're not.
Our short film went on a platform.
Made $80.
Yeah, for a full year. It was $80,
and it was played on.
That was our. To be fair, that was our half.
Sure.
Because our sales agent took half.
But it was still like that was it playing
deal.
on a proper television channel in that period of time.
Yeah.
That was paid.
It was our short film, our award-winning short film, No Caller ID.
That was our cut of that, $80.
Yeah.
So, you know, maybe spending 7,000 on your short, a little optimistic.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't really sense regret as more I sensed.
Because they were quite expensive as well.
Yes,
weren't
that
they?
was the other thing. He was selling them for $20 a piece. Now this is like a 10-minute short film that you're paying $20. I mean, feature films are 99 cents now. You literally get the entire catalog of Netflix for $10 a month.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So for 2 months, you have all the films in the fucking world, or you could get this short film. So,
well, I guess maybe he doesn't plan on selling them all. Maybe he's going to use it like a mixtape, because that'll be the only way to kind of recoup the cost, or make it worthwhile. You maybe not recoup the cost, but make it worthwhile. Is you treat it like a mixtape and you start giving them away to people, because you got 900 of the motherfuckers. So like when you're walking down the street in Hollywood Boulevard and those guys come up and hawk their CDs to you, that could be art. That could be him. But with his short film.
Well, I didn't really sense regret.
Well, we're just giving them away, though.
I didn't sense regret as much as pure insanity is what I sensed. A mind, a wild and delusional mind. Completely off the rails.
All right.
100% lock me up, put me in the asylum, put me in the loony bin with the rest of them. Well, and by that I mean the rest of the filmmakers.
Listen. Here's hoping he doesn't listen. I did hear an interesting term, though, for people who are sort of delusional in the film industry. And there's heaps of them, it's kind of a common theme that runs through, I guess, probably a lot of different creative industries, but certainly in film, the people that are just real big shit talkers or just delusional about their goals or whatever, but they call them they referred to them as a keenie. They were like, he goes, oh yeah, no, I know this guy who can do this, that, the other thing, and he goes, and he's don't worry, he's not a keenie,
right?
And it was like, okay, that's what they are, keenies, because they're super keen, I guess, and they're these sort of delusional, do a lot of talking, don't do a lot of actual making types.
Well, the thing about it is,
not suggesting that the guy that we were just talking about is one of them, because he has made something.
He's made, and he believes in it wholeheartedly.
I'm distancing myself from guys.
Total commitment, absolute 100%. Well, look, I did think about this in terms of like, this is fucking mental, right? I thought about that, but I also thought, well, if I was 21 and I'd made a short film,
was he 21?
No. Oh no. No, not at all. He should know better. He should know much better. But I'm just saying
if
I was 21 and we just made WCRP, which I think we made when we were 22.
We did make a bunch of DVDs of that.
I would certainly believe, we'll sell 900 of those. Yeah, it's fucking amazing.
It's amazing. It's a piece of art.
It's hilarious.
It's genius. The Wellington City Rubbish Police.
You don't see funnier things than this. When look at all the stuff we've got in here. It's shot super professionally on mini DV tape on the DVX camera. I mean, you can't handle these production values.
It's a show about you and me being recycling officers enforcing arbitrary like laws related to recycling in the environment.
We're wearing short shorts. It's hilarious. Our shorts are really short. Our uniform is somewhat comical.
That's another show where if you know where to pause it, you can actually see my testicle.
That's true.
So it's similar to where if you know where to pause older, you can see the base of guy's shaft. It's my version of that. If you know where to pause WCRP at the right time, it's on YouTube. Search Wellington City Rubbish Police short film. It's actually on the Retro Pigville channel.
Yeah,
I've got it uploaded there. It's from when we were like 21. But if you know where to pause it, you can find you can get a still frame of my nutsack.
I'm not sure anyone's going to be taking you up on that
Easter
egg.
I think Tyler Adams will have a
that hidden Easter egg is something that most people will pass on.
Tyler Adams will have a peep.
So yes, that was like, it's the artist's way. I mean, you got to believe, but maybe temper your expectations to some degree.
Yeah.
I think read the
Well,
market.
he probably just got a little caught up, thinking about how much money he could save. The more you buy, the more you save.
It's true. I'm sure he
So
saved.
he's like,
he definitely saved a lot of money on that $7,000 he spent.
He's gonna have to start giving them away like a mixtape. That's obviously what he's gonna have to do.
Yeah.
Put them in like fucking people's mailboxes and shit.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. It was a little bit troubling to me, but that's. Look, we all got to learn. We all got to learn it.
Well, we did learn it the hard way because we got some DVDs made of Wellington City Rubbish Police, and they did not sell as I recall.
We didn't really try and sell them though either.
Yeah, I don't think we did.
Not that anyone would have bought them, but
no,
which is maybe why we didn't try and sell them. But we did. We did definitely try and like kind of give them like as a showpiece of our masterful work. I'm sure that's really what we were using them for, and we're like,
that's right.
Right. Like
we weren't selling them.
Check this out.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Check out this New Zealand Film Commission.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is we did it the smart way actually. So I actually ended up coming to your.
We're realistic. We're a bit more realistic.
Yeah.
But what we were delusional about was the quality.
Yeah.
We were very delusional about how
it was just a lot funnier to us than it was to anybody else, I guess.
And we were a lot more original and unique in our heads than actually the fucking cliche that we really were.
Oh, look, we did Hot Fuzz before Hot Fuzz did Hot Fuzz.
It's true.
Right?
Like it's true. Our crowning achievement of beating up a 82-year-old woman,
hilarious.
Will forever. We forever beat them to that gag, which shows that our comedy is on the same level as Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, and so we thought of it before them. And who's to say they weren't trawling YouTube and happened to come across us beating up this granny and went,
we might have influenced them.
And in fact, they were so proud of that.
We probably did.
They were so proud of that they put it in the trailer as the big laugh out loud moment, fly kicking a granny or whatever. And it's like, guys, we did it. A sold hat. We already did that. We already thought of that hilarious thing because we too are hilarious people like you.
It is a funny saying. I'm sure it's aged excellentely and is not in any way horrible and misogynistic.
It's not at all offensive to anybody.
Yeah, anybody at all. So you guys can go see that Wellington City Rubbish Police on the Retro Pigville channel if you'd like to have a look at that. It's highly offensive and should not be viewed by anyone.
Yes,
anyone.
So what we did, also the name of the granny that we beat up, was Dorothy Ann Boner.
Well, it was Bonner.
It was Bonner.
And she did an excellent job.
She did do an excellent job, and I have found her on Facebook, and she's still rocking it.
That's good.
She also had a cat that was like 20 years old, and that had it was a black cat that's hair had gone orange because it was so old. It had it's the little
strange what you remember, huh?
Yeah. Well, I had a good chat with her. I think she was really hopeful that film would be better than it was.
Well, I don't think we sent it to her.
Well, I don't think so because we kind of didn't feel like it would really jive well with her.
Well, she read it. She knew what it was, but it was also that it took a year and a half. It took a year and a half of post-production, and then we lost contact with it.
To be fair, her performance in it was very good. She may have been the most authentic actor in the whole thing.
I'd say so, yeah. She was very good.
And anyway, what I also remember about that scene where you
viciously
assault this 82-year-old woman, and we say it's hilarious and funny, and you should all laugh at it, was that we had a stunt double, obviously.
Yeah.
And the stunt double was Jason Rogan, our friend. Who still resides in Wellington. So basically, we dressed up Jason Rogan with her outfit and like a little granny wig and a hat, and then we were kicking her on the ground. But we didn't have any sound effects of her, or maybe we did, but her sound effects weren't that great. And so what we had to do is re-record her sound effects. So the sound effects you hear as we mercilessly stomp this 82-year-old granny is like you and I going, oh, 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 and that we thought that was also genius that we
Yeah.
so that's our
Yeah, I
voices
forgot about that.
piped in kicking the crap out of that granny. So that's a cool little side note, little sidebar for the fans. So that was
it's good times. I think for the new WCRP, we might it might be maybe that's the thing. Maybe we kill a lot. Maybe we make the killing. We add more killing because we've already got like in another one of the episodes of WCRP, I shoot somebody in the head. Maybe there's a thing where I always kill people.
Yeah.
I always take it one step too far.
True. You shoot someone in the head in a later episode.
I shoot someone in the head in a later episode, and in that one, I possibly killed that granny.
Yeah.
It's a very brutal assault, so I'd say she probably didn't make it.
I don't think she would have. No.
In that Wellington City Rubbish Police universe.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's probably potentially there's a kid who I tackle at one point in one of the episodes very roughly, and blood comes pouring out of his nose, and he's non-responsive.
That's right.
So it may be actually in the new WCRPs that we should build on that, where I just
kill people.
Yeah.
Look, it was we're on the same level. Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, we're on the same level. We're doing the same, doing it before them. So, so I will just say a quick mention about Older, the real feature film that we made. One of the 2 real feature films we made. It's been on an uptick. So we had this horrible IMDb run, which I feel I'm responsible for. Where it essentially got downvoted.
Why do you feel you're responsible for it?
Because what I think happened is that I downvoted another independent film. I didn't downvote it, I gave it a terrible review. I gave it a 2 out of 10 or a 3 out of 10. But the problem, and I didn't really think about this at all, is if you look at your reviews, like all independent filmmakers do, you can trace it back to the source. Guy Pigden can be traced back to the source as Guy Pigden, director of Older. And no sooner had I dropped this review than suddenly we went from 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 to like 5 out of 10, 4 out of 10.
Yeah. You reap what you sow, huh? You reap what you sow.
And I just, this is my conspiracy theory, is I shat on this film and he's like, all right, motherfucker, you want to shit on my film? All right, guys, all my friends, can you just downvote this guy? Just give it a 1 star, like 50 of you. There you go. Thank you. Done.
But it didn't get 51 star ones.
But you know what I mean.
You can see how many there was. I don't know.
But you can't see. So. I don't know if you can see how many ratings there are.
You can see how many 1s you've got, how many 2s you've got, how many 3s, how many 4s. You didn't know this? It's in there. You can see exactly how many 1s you've got. You can see which ones came from the United States, which came from where. So you can see that a bunch of 1 stars came from the United States or where it was.
Well, that's where I think the issue was personally. But speaking of reviews,
those damn Yankees.
Speaking of reviews, I'm going to throw a couple out here, and this is a new section that I like to call the glory hole.
I like it. It's a good name.
So this one.
Yeah, it's good. You're going to read out nice comments now.
So this is from the IMDb. So it's had an uptick. It was hovering dangerously at 5. It has now gone up to 5.4. If you haven't rated it on IMDb, please do so. And don't give it a low rating. Whatever you do.
Search for Older the Movie IMDb and you'll find it and you can sign in.
But so this is
using Facebook. You can sign in using Facebook. You don't need an account. But you can give it a 10-star rating and a nice review.
This is from Kev Mole. This small indie film is a sleeper that outclasses many current big budget films with well-known stars. Older's storyline focuses on the choices some people make while in a relationship and how unexpected events can impact their decision-making process. 2 of the main characters in the film are played by Guy and Leisha, and they truly have great chemistry together. Knox is wonderful every time she is on screen. The various events that move the storyline along are relatable to the viewer, as are many of the actions of the main characters. Films like Older are a pleasant reminder that there are certain positive forces in the world that guide people's behaviour. Hopefully the success of Older will allow Pigden and his creative partner Harley Neville, also in the film, the ability to put out additional films.
Nice.
I'll throw one more at you.
Okay. See, that's nice. The way he says Harley Neville, though, does make me feel like it's
Are
somebody
you a little
that
suspicious
knows
that
us.
this person knows us, Harley?
A little
Are you
bit. Because he said, and Harley Neville.
Yes, he did single
like
out.
He had to do his research to find out who I was,
Yes.
Unless, of course, he is, one of the listeners or somebody like that, whoever that person is. Either way, it doesn't really matter. Thank you a lot to that person, and thanks for the name drop.
And this is from Kiwi Friend.
Seems like maybe a Kiwi friend of ours.
Well, I've checked their reviews. I'm not sure. It's hard to know.
Yeah.
8 out of 10. The little indie film that could. I don't go into films that have few reviews with lower budgets with high expectations. Because let's face it never works out. This little Kiwi film, however, was a pleasant surprise. It's modern dating. The lines are quite blurry. And there is joy and no apologies in casual sex. But of course, it's natural to feel jealousy. What do you do with those feelings? And how do you handle the rest of your life and living? How do other people fit into your life? Give this movie a chance. There are a lot of lovely people to watch. And it doesn't feel like they are just reciting lines, which is a bonus. So, Kiwi Friend, appreciate that, thank you. Oh, friend. And also, we got this 5-star review on Amazon.
Okay.
Good movie for stupid, immature kids. So if you're a stupid, immature kid, you'll really appreciate this movie, I think.
So did this turn back into the troll hole now?
No, that's the thing. She, Hunter Feng Shi.
Oh, but gave us 5 out of 5
stars.
And what does
it
say?
Good movie for stupid and immature kids.
Huh.
So there you go.
It's a weird thing to say. But we do appreciate the 5 out of 5. Yeah. So thank you very much.
And I could go on. There's a couple more good ones, but I won't. It's
but you won't
to gloat.
Because people way prefer me suffering.
Lose my top and read a bad one.
Yeah,
of course they do.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah,
we all do.
Yeah. Nobody likes good news.
No such thing as good news.
Well, speaking of bad news, I got a call the other day, or actually, I got a letter the other day from the Ministry of Justice saying there's a fucking price on my head for an unpaid fine that I didn't know about.
Sounds right.
And so I called them up, with a snotty attitude to find out what the fuck's going on here. And it turns out that at the beginning of the year, I got snapped by one of those little snitches with a camera that sits by a bus lane trying to catch you. If you drive more than 50 meters in a bus lane, these little snitches that narc on their fellow citizens, these, if you go more than 50 meters, you get a fine. And it's the next entrance. And it's like, okay, well, obviously, and there's traffic and all that. I'm not going to merge with the other traffic when I'm literally turning left at the next left. And so I drove one block in the left lane because I was turning left. I turned left and then I wanted to turn left and then I had to extend it one more block because it was a simple, honest mistake. And then there was this dirty wee rat there with his wee camera, little snitch.
Yeah.
So
who long-time listeners of the show might remember, I used to police those people.
Yeah.
I used to go up and I used to say...
You were part of the problem.
I used to say, hey, what are you doing there, mate?
Yeah.
And they go, oh, we're just filming something. And I go, cool, what's that camera for? And they go, oh, well, we're just recording people in case we see anyone. And I'm like, oh, cool. Thanks. Bye. Yeah.
Well, see, I would definitely have failed that test, right? Because actually what happened was so I get this fine anyway, $180. Turns out it was $150 plus a $30 late fee. But But then a little while later, I had a job where I was a cameraman who I had to sit next to a road with a high-vis vest on and film an intersection. And on a seat, I just sat there on my seat and filmed, supervised this camera as it, filmed an intersection. And I looked every bit the part of one of those guys working for the Auckland Transport System, but I was actually filming it for something else, completely unrelated. It wasn't really to do with traffic. Right. But either way, I looked like one of them, and I did get a few nasty sideways, looks and a few questions, like what I was filming for, and that, like they were gunning for a fight. And if one of those people was a test person doing what you were doing, that where you go around, you test their knowledge, and see how they behave towards the public and all that, I definitely would have got fired, because one of the guys was like, "Oh, you like a traffic warden type thing," and I was like, "Nah, I hate those cunts."
Good comeback.
And I reckon that would have
placated him.
Got me. Well, it did, but it also would have got me fired if you were.
That's true.
Testing me.
If you were one of those,
if he was a secret sleeper agent, and that was my answer.
Oh, big time fail. Big time fail.
Yeah.
100%. That would have got you fired.
Absolutely. Luckily, that's not what I was doing.
No. Now, was the chair supplied to you, or did you bring your own chair?
No, I had to take my flatmate's chair, and then I forgot it, and now I've got to go to a place and pick it up.
Now you owe him a chair.
Well, I do, so I've got to go to this place and pick it up. I know where it is.
How do you forget a chair exactly?
Well, I don't know, because we were talking about it as well. I was like, cool, man. Well, I'm sorry I can't leave you my chair because it's actually my flatmate's. All right, see you later. And then I walked away, and then I bet he fucking sat on it and didn't say anything because I had to text him. I was like, ah. But anyway, found it. So yes, that was that's the thing. I had somewhere to be, so I left early. But after this large sporting event that I was filming outside, all the drunks came out, and apparently they were quite abusive.
Sounds about right, because you can't reason with drunks.
No, you can't explain to them that you're not what they think you are. And so it was quite good. I got out of there at exactly the right time.
Yeah, you escaped that public shaming and humiliation.
Yeah. Well, because people would have seen me as well, right? And just assumed that they wouldn't talk to me. Like somebody would know me, right?
Yeah.
And they walk past and they go, "Hey, that's Harley." And they go, "Is he one of those fucking traffic reporting snitches?"
Oh my, how the mighty have fallen.
Yeah. Oh, isn't he supposed to be a big shot producer? Oh my God, look at him.
What a joke.
That's so pathetic. He must be like, he must be 35, 36, he must be about 37, 38 now. Oh my God.
Doesn't he have any shame?
God, he's got a high-vis vest on. So it's like he wants us to see him.
Yeah.
What a loser.
Yeah, well, hopefully no one saw you.
Well, I can only hope.
Hopefully no one saw you in a known area full of filmmakers in the biggest rugby event
of the
year in the world.
Yeah.
Due to COVID, hopefully no one that knew you saw you. Just down the road from where you live. Yeah,
literally hundreds of people walked past me, and I just read my book. I read my World War II sniper autobiography from a Russian sniper on the Eastern Front in the surrounding Leningrad, on the Ostfront. So,
but yeah, no, that's good stuff. So what else has been going on?
Well, what else has been going on, Guy?
I feel like that was all the news that we've managed to accumulate
in the last 7 days since the last episode.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Well, look, it's probably a good time to wrap it up then.
It is.
No need to rabbit on all night.
Yep.
Jamie Oxley does prefer a few more hours. The longer the show, the better when you're cruising the outback.
Yeah, well, and quick shout out also to Tyler, the visual effects creator, who we mentioned earlier.
Tyler, the meme creator, created my water care meme for me and did an excellent job.
He's currently working on the visual effects for the lockdown film that I shot, Stay at Home. And he's sent me through a few screen grabs, which are looking very, very cool. for the grand finale. For the film reaches its climax, its apex, and lo and behold, Tyler Adams takes front and center with a glorious visual effects shot. So that's looking really cool. And in fact, I am going to be heading in. So, they say money never sleeps, Harley.
No, it doesn't.
Well, you know what else doesn't sleep?
Tyler.
I don't think
Tyler
he
Adams.
hasn't been getting much sleep lately because he's been very busy with jobs. But I was actually going to say filmmaking never sleeps, because on Monday, which is a public holiday here in New Zealand, where everyone will be putting their feet up and relaxing and enjoying their 3-day weekend, I will be in a dark, dingy room, in fact, devoid of natural sunlight, watching someone work on the colour grade, because the colour grading for the film will be beginning. So we've already got it to our sound mixer.
Where's that being done?
That's being done by Dave McLaren at Big
yes.
Tree Studios. Amazing colour grader for those in the Auckland region, or even maybe not, but in New Zealand, or even not in New Zealand necessarily.
Or even not anymore.
Because he does do stuff remotely, but he's an awesome grader. We've worked with him a lot. He graded Zombie Holocaust and No Caller ID, among other things, and Harrow, and one other one too. Immi the Vegan. So
right.
He's a long-time helper and supporter of the cause as well, and he's always very awesome. He's also done like the most successful film in New Zealand, Hunt for the Wilder People. He did the grading on that, and Turbo Kid, and he also recently did the grading for Our Town, which is a film that's just recently out here, which is still available in cinemas. So if you want to check that out, check out his work. So I'm going to be working with him on Monday, while everyone else has a day off. Not I.
Our Town?
Our Town. What did I say?
That's what you said. Our Town.
I think it's Our Town.
I thought it was My
Could
Town.
be My Town. It's someone's town.
It's certainly it's David White's town.
It's David White's town because he produced, wrote, and directed it, I believe,
and acted in it. And he's the lead actor in it.
So what disgusts me
David White,
is
who I've worked with before on one of his earlier film he produced.
What was that called?
I can't remember what the giant sea turtle one.
The Great Snail Chase, I believe.
The Great Snail Chase.
First feature film. Also,
he produced it.
Starring.
He didn't direct it.
Starring our lead actress in I Survived a Zombie Holocaust, Jocelyn Christian. That was one of those weird films, right? It was one of those weird films that cost like $100,000 or something, and never kind of quite got finished or released or kind of existed in the world.
Yeah.
But it's one that does exist in the world. Event 16. So I encourage people to have a look at that online. That is also starring Jocelyn Christian. And I think that actually did really quite well on DVD over here. And it was one of those things, right place, right time. But yes, Event 16, which is a sci-fi film. But yeah, The Great Snail Chase. Anyway, but this is classic, isn't it? I wrote, directed, and produced and all that shit, right? And someone comes along and just does it better than me. Some other New Zealander comes along and does it better than me.
He had a lot more money. They had a proper budget.
He did have more resources. But it's...
lot more resources.
But you know, when you come into the scene and you go, cool, man, like, look at all my skill set. Isn't that amazing? And they go, well, I guess it would be amazing except this other guy that just did it, which, did it clearly better than you. And you go, what? But all those things, I did them. I did them all. Multiple talented. And they're just like, well, yeah, cool, mate. But the other guy did them way better. So what the fuck did you do exactly? Yeah. And then it's just...
Well, you one-upped him by doing it for no money.
Well, I guess you can. I one-upped him by doing it for no money and no audience. So he did it for an audience. I did it for no audience. So you see, I got ahead of him there, you see?
If people would like to see older, they can go to www.olderfilm.com, and we would really appreciate it if you went there. And there's a big buy now button, and no matter where you are in the world, there's an option for you. Well, as long as you're in an English-speaking territory, there's an option for you, and it's probably going to be Amazon Prime. It could be Google Play. It could be Tubi.com, or it could be, if you're in New Zealand or maybe Australia, you can also get it on
The
Vimeo.
director's cut, no less.
The director's cut on Vimeo. So you can do that, and that's all under olderfilm.com when you hit buy now.
And also, and we should mention, because it has just, the IMDb rating has got up. It's 5.4. It was sitting at fucking 5. It's at 5.4 now, so thank you very much. Also, the Amazon rating, which never dipped, always stayed consistent, is now at 51 ratings. So only another 50 to get to 100, and only another 650 reviews to get to 700 reviews. And the 700 review mark being the barometer for me, in the sense that some very successful other indie rights films with about that many have been doing very well on those platforms. So I feel like the algorithm is really loving your ass. I will also say that I've heard from a few people in the States that they've said, yes, it has been recommended, an Amazon recommended title is how I stumbled across this. So shout out to those people. Shout out to those reviewers.
It's building. It's building.
It's slow and steady.
It's building.
Very slow and steady wins the race.
Well, we don't know. That's the thing. They haven't given us our, we haven't had our first quarterly review
yet. But it's
yet.
almost like that diagnosis, right? It's almost like going to the doctor, I feel, where you don't,
because if it sucks,
you don't want to know. You want it because that's the thing. It's like right now, you might be sick, but you might be 100% okay. But
Schrodinger's illness.
But as soon as you go and get that diagnosis, you know you got cancer and you're gonna die.
Yeah, it's Schrodinger's cancer.
And that is exactly why you want to keep the mystery. You kind of don't tell me. Never tell me the odds. Don't tell me the amount of. Don't tell me that we made 50 cents. Never tell me the 50 cents. But we'll see how it's going. But all we can do is continue to get those reviews and keep poking the algorithm ever on to our to victory. So if you have been dragging your feet and like, I'll get to that review. I'll do that thing. I'll get to it. Just get on over to IMDb or Amazon and drop that review on us, and maybe we'll read it out in the glory hole. It's possible. New segment.
Exactly.
So anyway, thank you very much to everyone that supported the film and got out and bought it and all that sort of thing. We really appreciate it.
Yes, indeed we do. And so shout out to our live streamers, Run With Scissors, Tyler Adams, Nocturnal, and whoever else is out there lurking. Shout out to you guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Shout out to the lurkers.
And the lurkers. And we're not taking our tops off, Runs With Scissors. And that brings the show to a close.
So thank you very much, guys.
We'll see you next week.
See you later.